Thanks to the support as a channel member, Rob Pontin. Right, folks, multiple pieces of admin that we need to get out of the way before we get into the action. Admin piece number one, I am splitting the end of this series into 2 episodes. Now we know Football Manager doesn't actually release until 4 p.m. tomorrow rather than midnight. We can release a final episode tomorrow morning in the 11 a.m. slot. So this is part 1 of the finale, effectively. The final part will be coming out tomorrow morning. That's why this isn't a super long double length episode that I know some of you were interested in. I've taken that feedback on board. We'll see where we go with it. Also, with the new game finally releasing in full tomorrow, that does mean the pre-order discount period is coming to an end. Today, basically up until 3:59 tomorrow, is your final chance to order the game at the cheapest price of, what was it, £38? I'm looking it up on my machine. £38.94 through my affiliate link is what you can get it at right now. Once it gets to 4 p.m. tomorrow, Sports Interactive remove the pre-order discount that was on their end, which means my discounted price goes up to £41.32 from 4 p.m. on the 4th of November. It's still cheaper than it will be on Steam or Epic or Xbox or anywhere else. It's $49.99 in all of those places, but also worth bearing in mind that once we hit 4 p.m. tomorrow, it does hit Game Pass for both console and PC, and a demo becomes available, which I think allows you to play all the way through until Christmas of the first season. So it's up to you whether you save £3 by going today or decide to try before you buy through Xbox Game Pass or through the demo tomorrow. Either way, if you do decide to buy the game, my discount code continues. You can get it for $38.94 today or for £41.32 from tomorrow onwards. And thank you very much to everybody who has supported the channel during the pre-order period by pre-ordering through my link. It is very much appreciated. I do earn a small commission on every single one of those purchases, and it brings a warm glow to my heart and my wallet. Just the heart, knowing that so many of you have decided to support the channel that way. Thank you very much. And I think that was it for admin. Let's crack on. Let's win everything. Starting with the Champions League, and this is the situation that we are in. We are facing Bayern Munich in the quarter-final of the Champions League. We're 2-1 up from the first leg, so just need to not mess up, and we make our way into the semi-final of the Champions League for what would be the 3rd season in the row for Arsenal. In the Premier League, we have had a couple of stumbles, which I really hope isn't opening the door for Spurs. We have got our bogey team, Liverpool, who we've still not beaten in the series on the last day of the season. But we have lost against Chelsea and drawn against West Ham in the Premier League, which means this is what the table looks like. 5 games to go. We are still 5 points clear of Spurs, 9 points clear of Liverpool, who do have a game in hand on both us and Spurs. We have a much better goal difference. We have to stumble a bit more yet before we worry. And hopefully we will just cruise over the finish line so we can focus on the Champions League. But I am aware that the stumbling has begun. Football Manager and form and morale and run-ins. Some things change and some things will forever stay the same, and it's not going to be smooth sailing. There will be twists in the tail before the season ends yet. But let's not worry about that right now. Let's worry about dealing with Bayern Munich, and we've got to do it without the suspended Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's going to be unavailable for this match. Pretty much everyone else, though, is available, and this is the team. It's Costa in goal. A back four of Timber at left back, Gabriel Saliba and Livramento at right back, Rice and Tchouaméni in midfield, Saka on the left, Odegaard on the right, Mount in behind Gyökeres. Imagine you're just tuning into the series for the first time today for this episode and you're like, Saka's on the what? And Odegaard's where? And, excuse me, Mason Mount, sir. We're doing quite well. This is the front four that works best for us. After much experimentation over nearly 2 seasons now, Saka on the left, Odegaard on the right, Mount in behind Gyökeres. It doesn't make sense to me either, but I've watched enough matches now to see that it definitely is the one that works or comes closest to working in the match engine. It's also worth noting how much we've progressed as a team, because the last time you saw me play Bayern Munich was in the group stage of the Champions League at the start of this season, where we did lose and put them in the same category as Liverpool, as a team that will just forever beat us. They're impossible, blah, 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 blah. Harry Kane's a monster. Obviously didn't show the first leg in the video because we're trying to get the series finished. Oh, Gyökeres nearly scored a worldie. But we did go to Germany and come back with a lead. We're 2-1 up from the first leg. This is the home leg. So we have already managed a defeat of Bayern Munich, which hopefully means we can go on and build on that in this second leg. Obviously in a hugely advantageous situation coming into the home leg with a lead. Look at that skill from Mason Mount. There's Mount again. Lays it off to Livramento. Livramento doesn't drill it across goal, gives it back to Tchouaméni, who shoots from range, and he's probably not the man we wanted shooting from there, but it was some lovely football in the build-up play from Timber and Odegaard and Mount and everybody just getting involved with beautiful little one-touch passing. We have got this vertical tiki-taka that we've been doing all series long. We're tiki-tackering like the best tiki-tackers. Look at this beautiful one-touch, two-touch passing football. Livramento plays it back to Tchouaméni, and now back to Livramento again, who lays it into Odegaard, and then back to Tchouaméni and Rice and Timber, who shoots from range and forces the save out of the keeper. But there's so much of this very, very quick passing, trying to basically work our way into finding somebody who's got a little bit of space to get a shot off. And I don't know that Timber was the man to be shooting in that situation. He was quite far out, and I don't recall him scoring from long range at any point, but he's got the confidence to have a go, and I'm not gonna begrudge the man an effort on goal. Gyökeres has dropped very, very deep, but then received it back from Timber. I mean, it was lovely build-up play. Gyökeres deserves a goal there. He dropped super deep, laid the ball off to Timber, and then just spun and ran, knowing he would get the ball back. Timber plays it through to him beautifully, and unfortunately, he's not able to keep his composure and keep the ball below the crossbar, and he has had a couple of good opportunities so far and fluffed them both. Saka now with a free kick, 25 minutes in. It's definitely a shooting opportunity, and I don't know, has he hit the crossbar? Was that a save? It's gone behind for a corner, so I think the keeper's got fingertips to that. But looking at those match stats, we've had a fantastic start to this second leg. We've been all over them. The only thing missing is a goal. Bayern yet to have a shot on goal, but of course you just need one look at that front four to know they probably won't need many shots to score. We've had 12 shots. If Bayern had had 12 shots, they would have scored by now. Of that, I am certain. And it is the area of our squad where we are still a little bit frustrating. We need a lot of chances for every goal that we score, probably because we attempt stuff like that, which gets recorded as a shot, rather than carving out proper chances, which is what Bayern probably do a little more than we do. But it remains 0-0 on the night. 2-1 on aggregate, and if the whole match ends like this, we're happy. The onus is on them to come out and attack us and score. They had one shot from a corner towards the end of the first half, but they've got to come and open up and attack us at some point, and fingers crossed when they do that, it opens the door for us to get in behind them and finish the match off. That's the gamble we've got. We're not shutting up shop. We're not parking the bus. We've got it in our locker. We've done it on a few occasions this season. I just don't want to do it. It's rubbish and boring, and nobody wants rubbish and boring unless we get knocked out, in which case I should have done rubbish and boring, but we're doing all right so far. It's a gamble. Right, this is the first Bayern attack that we've had in the match so far, and it's so unexpected that it does glitch out the graphics just a little bit. Harry Kane with a header that comes back off the crossbar, and there's a warning shot for you. Costa just keeps hold of the ball, lets the graphics catch up with him a little bit, hopefully. We certainly don't want any more glitches like that one. Full game, very, very close to release. Fingers crossed, stuff like that's gone forever once we get the full release out. But we're an hour in. It's still 0-0, 2-1 on aggregate. And now we've got the ball in the attack, and we're trying another one of these long throws through Gabriel. 2 seasons in, we still haven't managed to get one that worked. Oh my word, we've actually got a flick on. It ends up with Saka and Rice, and we finally have a long throw that has worked for 2 long years. I've been desperate for a flick on, and there we finally get one, and it causes the chaos it was always designed to cause. That is 2 years of hard work paying off. We deserve that for persisting with it. Captain Declan Rice puts us 1-0 up on the night, 3-1 up on aggregate, 25 minutes to go in the match, and fingers crossed that's that. You would like to think. Bayern have probably got other ideas, but they really, really are going to have to come and attack us now. Before, it was enough for them to just grab the odd goal and push it to extra time. Now they've got to score twice. and they've got 20 minutes to do it. They are going to have to attack and show more ambition than they've done at any point in this match so far, and hopefully we can capitalise on when they do that. Gyökeres has had a really poor game. We're going to bring on Evan Ferguson, who has kind of become first reserve. Ramos has dropped down the pecking order a little bit. Roque just hasn't worked out. We use him in wide areas, as we might end up doing later on in this match. But for now, we're going to take off Odegaard and bring on Nwaneri, which is another very standard substitution for us. And then I think we're also going to freshen up Mason Mount. And actually, we might... No, we'll bring Eze on. I was tempted to potentially put Nwaneri in there and bring on Roque, but no, we'll bring on Eze, who has never let us down. I mean, it's a little bit harsh that he's fallen so far down the pecking order behind Mason Mount, and then the rise of Ethan Nwaneri means Eze is probably done. If we were to do a third season in this save, which we're not going to, he probably is moving on. He'll have been here 2 years. He's pushing 30 now in save, and just isn't establishing himself as a starter for us. So it's a shame, because I love him, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out at Arsenal for him in this universe. Nketiah comes in at left back. Saka is going to come off for Martinelli, and it shows the strength in depth we've got in that attack. There was a little bit of criticism from my first transfer window that I've destroyed the strength in depth that Arsenal have built. Yeah, I've got rid of the real life strength in depth. We've built our own version of it. The fact that Vitor Roque is on the bench, we've made 4 attacking substitutions, and he isn't one of the first 4 to come on, shows the strength in depth we've got. And Nwaneri, that's brilliant from him. And now Livramento, and it's 2-0 on the night. It's 4-1 on aggregate. It's job done. We're in the Champions League semi-final. And Nwaneri was fantastic there. He is just getting better and better and better. Look at that little touch. That's sensational from Nwaneri. And good work from Livramento. A little bit of criticism when we brought him in. There you go. Steps up when it matters, doesn't he? Lovely, lovely stuff. And yeah. Kai Havertz has just come on up front. They put Harry Kane onto the left wing and brought Kai Havertz on at centre forward. There's levels to this, and I'm on a different level to Vincent Kompany, or whatever his secret Football Manager name is, because it's not Vincent Kompany, is it? We identified that on stream. He has a secret name because Bayern Munich things, I guess. But we're not going to concern ourselves with any of that. We're only concerned with having secured a semi-final spot, and now we get to find out who we're going to be playing in that semi-final. So Manchester City have beaten Aston Villa, but the Wednesday night game's still to happen, so we won't know just yet, I don't think. Oh no, we do. We're playing Man City. Oh my word, we've got to do this the hard way. Do we get to see the rest of... Can I look at my inbox, please, Football Manager? There we go. So we get Manchester City. Do we know what the other semi-final is yet? If we go into the Champions League stages, semi-final, so it's us versus Man City, and then it'll be either Chelsea or Juventus versus Liverpool or Real Madrid. I mean, if we are to win this, we are going to have to win it the hard way. At least there's no chance of Spurs pipping us to the post this season, which is important stuff. Right, depending on how league matches go, it will either be the second leg against Manchester City coming up next, or a scarier, more urgent league game if things start to fall apart. But the dream scenario is we play Man City in the second half of this episode, and then tomorrow morning's video can be Liverpool and a Champions League final. That's what we're hoping for. I suspect it might not work out exactly like that, but we've got to win at least something. Just one thing. I don't mind which one thing. I just want to win one thing, please. Oh, boys and girls, it might actually be happening. It's all very exciting. We thumped Everton 5-0 in the league. Hat-trick from Mason Mount. We thumped Sunderland in the league. Hat-trick from Evan Ferguson. And then we absolutely thumped with bells on Manchester City in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final. Corners might finally be working, boys and girls, but we're 4-0 up from the first leg. So rather than showing you the second leg, I'm going to show you what I hope is going to be a Premier League title decider at home against Bournemouth. This is the situation we're in the league. 85 points with 3 games to go. Spurs are on 77 with 3 to play. Liverpool 73 with 4 to play. So if we beat Bournemouth here, we go to 88, which means neither of them can catch us, and we should see our first trophy lift of FM26. This is the team that we're going to put out there today. We still have to have half an eye on the Manchester City second leg, which is coming up in just a couple of days' time. Why is our bench not? Let's just stick some players on the bench. There you go. That should get that job done, but we've got Costa in goal, a back four of Timber, Hincapié, Saliba and Mosquera, Zubimendi and Rice in midfield, Ranieri on the left, Saka on the right, Odegaard in behind, Ferguson up front. Livramento has now picked up an injury and is going to miss probably the rest of the season. Flamingo is injured as well, so neither of those can get involved in the rotation. But Mikel Merino has been sold to Leeds. They have stayed in the Premier League. If you remember, he went there on loan with a deal where they would sign him for £63 million if they stayed in the Premier League. They have stayed in the Premier League. The money has already come through. So whoever takes over from me as Arsenal manager has got £115 million to spend this summer with the transfer budget we've been given, plus the Merino money. So that's jolly nice. But let's win the league, shall we? Just don't balls up. If we don't balls up, we win the league. If we do balls up, tomorrow's episode is going to be very, very interesting because it could be a spectacular bottle job, which I'm not really up for. If it's all the same with you, I'd rather just get the title wrapped up here, and then tomorrow we can focus on winning the Champions League, and then all is good. Right, here is Ranieri, who, by the way, is now considered a 4.5-star current ability player. He's just won Premier League Player of the Month. Ranieri gets good fast in FM26, certainly if you use him a lot, which does mean, he's the primary reason why Eze has fallen. Him and Mount, I guess. Between the two of them are why we had too many attacking midfielders with him involved. I can't imagine how much better the situation is going to be when Dauman eventually gets added to the game as well. I've been told apparently his 16th birthday is on New Year's Eve. So when we get a mid-season update after the January transfer window, theoretically, Max Dauman gets added to the Arsenal squad as well at that point. And if Ranieri's and Lewis Skelly's potential abilities stay as high as they are, there's some very, very, very good young players at Arsenal. Right, Mosquera, who we've barely seen in videos in this series, he gets a rare run out at right back today. Ranieri gets him behind, but can't keep his shot down. But yeah, Mosquera with Livramento and Flamingo both injured, he moves back up the pecking order again for the time being, and gets to have a very rare start at right back for us today. We could potentially shuffle this back four around if we need to. Hincapié could go to left back, Timber to right back, and Mosquera in the middle, but this way round seemed like the least disruptive. Timber's played plenty at left back for us over the course of the save. Hincapié seems better at centre back than left back from what we've used, and obviously this way keeps Saliba on the right hand side of the centre back partnership, so we can have two right footers, a left footer, and then Timber, who can just play anywhere because he's magic. Rather than having to have two right-footed centre-backs and one of them playing on a side they'd prefer not to play on. See? Tactics. Rice is in here, and it's taken an enormous deflection. It's an own goal. They all count, though. It doesn't matter. Declan Rice, hugely involved again. Our captain is leading us, finally, to glory, hopefully. And he's done really well to get himself back onside after taking the corner, actually. He's followed the run of the Bournemouth defenders, and then just looking to drive it across goal. Ferguson was waiting for the tap in there. I think Saka was in there as well. So the defender had to get involved. And then it was just a lottery which direction the ball pinged in once it hit him, and it ended up in the back of the net. Huzzah for us. And now we've got a free kick just on the stroke of half time. 47 minutes on the clock of the 47 that should be played. Ranieri's got himself into a decent position again, keeps the ball in. Cross comes over. Odegaard, who played the original ball for Ranieri, makes it into the area for the far post header, which isn't typical Odegaard things. He's not even playing wide today. He's back in his preferred central position today, but still getting around all over the place, getting involved in everything. And we're doing it the messy, not very glamorous way. 1-0 up. An own goal is all we've done to get 1-0 up. But you know what? It doesn't matter if we see a trophy lift at the end of it all. And now Saka to Rice, who's got Mosquera trying to overlap, but can't get there. It was a little bit overhit, and Mosquera, obviously a centre-back playing at right-back anyway, isn't necessarily the man you want charging down the flanks to get on the end of a ball like that. It is Bournemouth trying to get something going, playing the ball out from the back, but Zubamendi wins it back off of them comfortably. And now Timber, who's come inside in that playmaking fullback role, lays it off to Waneri, who's got space on the left here, plays it back to Timber again, and now Rice. Ooh, that was a risky one. Hincapié to Saliba. It's lovely possession football from us. And now Saliba laying it off to Mosquera, and Saliba again, and Hincapié again. And this is one of those things that happens at the start of the second half sometimes, isn't it? Where the highlight seemingly ends forever. We have had a couple of these happen. And I've seen people say they have to instant result out of them. Just see them out. Sometimes you get a long highlight. You don't have to instant result. You just have to watch a lot of nice passing for a bit. If you're a nice passing team, I guess it's a little bit different. If you're a bunch of long ball thugs, it's less interesting to watch. Right, Zubamendi to Rice, and now Zubamendi again. A rare start for him in this new look Arsenal. Rice to Ferguson to Saka. Odegaard's got in behind. Odegaard applies the finish. It's 2-0, and that should be Arsenal Premier League champions for the first time in a gazillion years. You're welcome, everybody. We are just checking the VAR. The goal has been awarded. I've still not seen a goal disallowed off the back of VAR in FM26, so I didn't expect it to start today. But it's a very tidy finish from Odegaard, who is very much enjoying being back in that central position today. And actually, it's the quietest Waneri's been for a while. There's been times when we've played those three, but in a different combination, and kept Saka on the left, Odegaard on the right, and had Waneri central. And that seems to get the best out of Waneri. I don't think he's quite as effective in the wide areas. Certainly not on the left. He's probably better off the right or central. Right, Odegaard trying to lay Waneri in, who's going to try and prove me wrong. Drills it across to Ferguson. It's a good save from the Bournemouth keeper. Evan Ferguson has 3 goals from 3 games for us since signing, in the Premier League, that is, since signing back in January. So he's not played loads, and his 3 goals were all in one match, his previous match. But if he scores again, he keeps his goal a game record in an Arsenal shirt going. And I would imagine, certainly my plan, if I was sticking around, would be Ramos leaves this summer. Potentially Roque leaves as well. And we go with Gyökeres and Ferguson as the 2 strikers going into next season, maybe with a younger option who could end up being Roque still. He's still officially a wonder kid. He could probably stick around as a younger option who can play anywhere across the front 3. Odegaard trying to get something going again, but it's a fairly tame shot into the hands of the Bournemouth keeper. And I think we probably need to start looking in terms of making some fitness-saving substitutions with Manchester City on the horizon. So Saka is going to be the first one off. Let's protect him. Martinelli can come on the right for him. Odegaard is going to come on as well. So Eze can come on for him. And I think Rice is probably the other one who needs protecting. He's the other most key player. So Tchouaméni can come on for him, and then we'll give it another 5 or 10 minutes and probably take off Saliba and probably Timber, because he's useful for versatility. He's not necessarily a nailed-on starter, but with Livramento injured, Timber's almost certainly going to be involved on one side or the other. So we probably will look to rest him, or maybe even Waneri, who has become more and more important, but unlikely to start against Manchester City, I would suggest. But I think that's probably enough time has passed for our final couple of substitutions. So Saliba is an easy one to come off. Who have we got on the bench to play centre-back? Gabriel could come on. There you go. And then we will just shuffle this around completely to get everybody on their correct sides again. And then for the final change, maybe we'll look in terms of bringing somebody on. You know what? I'm going to give Ramos 15 minutes because he's not played for a little while. And if there's an injury to Gyökeres or Ferguson, he's somebody who we might need on this run-in. So giving him 15 minutes of time in his legs in a match that theoretically should be won probably isn't going to do him any harm at all. What I do kind of want to do, actually, is just swap those 2 over, because I think they're both more effective that way round. So let's swap them like that and hope we don't throw the title away from here. We've still got 15 minutes remaining. And oh my goodness me. I thought we'd given away a penalty there as well. Winery coming back on that left-hand side. Just clear it. Just clear it. Please just... Okay, he's very fancy, isn't he? He's very good at football. Gabriel plays it forward to Zubimendi. And now Eze, who's got plenty of options ahead of him, decides to go past his man, lays it off to Ramos. And now Martinelli as a final contribution from the right before he swaps over to the left-hand side. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't particularly effective, was it? But... it got the ball at the other end. He kicked it hard and it went quite far. And I guess that's quite important. But we are seeing this one out. Let's have the league table on there just as the confirmation that my maths is all correct. And now Eze with what could be the final kick before we lift the Premier League trophy. And oh, it very nearly tucked into that top corner. The keeper's done well to get all the way across there and push it out for a corner. But I don't think we need to see another highlight now. Match engine. 94 minutes on the clock. They're not going to score twice. And that should be a trophy left. I've not seen this animation yet. Obviously, we had to see there's me, look, in my lovely jacket. We had to watch the Champions League one last year when we were on the wrong end of it. But this is the Premier League animation. Love the fact that my little manager man gets nicely involved. It's all very pretty, isn't it? Is Mascara, excuse me? I mean, I don't know why Mascara is lifting the trophy. He's played like 2 games all season, but leave him to it. There doesn't even look like there's 11 players on there. We've sent the reserves out to lift the trophy, but I'm hanging out with them and having a lovely old time. And it is Mascara's just not letting it go. He's appointed himself captain, and who am I to argue with him? But there you go. We are champions. We have seen the Premier League champions animation, which was one of the main goals, if not the main goal, going into this beta series. And that means for the final episode, which, as a reminder, will be out 11 o'clock tomorrow morning before Non-Lethal Legend hits at 5 p.m. or as close to, depending on how quickly I can get it recorded after the game releases at 4. So tomorrow morning will be the final episode of this series where hopefully we can put a nice little cherry on top and win the Champions League. But even if we don't, I'm going to get this out now, even if we don't, the goal was the Premier League and we have now won it. Yay for me. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.